There's one right there. That feels good.
There's one. Wow. That's a net full.
There we go.
Good one. Real good one.
Look at that beast.
Beautiful. Got it. Wow, that's a big one, dude.
That's what it's all about, man.
Nice job, you two.
Lund Boats proudly presents the ultimate fishing experience. This week on Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience. Lund Pro Joel Nelson enjoys catching just about everything that swims. Angling versatility and adaptability are key qualities of accomplished multi-species anglers. Large rivers offer Joel both the quality and variety of fishing he loves. One of his favorites is the St. Croix River on the Minnesota-Wisconsin border. With experience, he's learned it's best to just take what the river gives you and capitalize on what's biting best that day. In fall, huge schools of shad congregate over deeper water. Predators follow closely behind, looking for the easy meal of injured or dying shad below the school. Using baits that mimic these shad is a solid strategy for catching just about every species in the river.
Hey everybody, Joel Nelson and Brandon Eater here. Today we're going to be fishing for some multi-species action. And anytime you think multi-species, I'm thinking river fishing, right? And we're fishing a tributary to the Mississippi called the St. Croix, and it's loaded with all kinds of different fish. We're likely to catch some walleye, maybe some sauger, maybe buffalo, smallmouth bass. There's just about anything could be caught, but we're going to take what the river gives us. Really excited to give it a whirl. Going to be throwing some jigs, throwing a bunch of different presentations. Can't wait to tell you more about it. You know, Brandon, we've done this bite before. Wouldn't be the first time. It's, you know, as you probably remember, it's a great bite because in the fall, all those shad really like to stack up, right?
Last time we were here, we caught a lot of different fish.
Yeah, it's amazing because there were some, you know, mixed in 20-pound plus buffalo. I think we had a flathead on for a little bit. Certainly didn't land it, but then, you know, of course, we were targeting walleye, and we caught some really nice walleye, including a 29. So at any point, this system can kick out some really big fish, but we're also fishing deep, right?
Yes.
Yeah, usually
really deep.
20-foot plus of water is where a lot of these fish, especially walleyes, are kind of staging underneath these rafts of shad. And we're gonna fish some points, we're gonna fish some inside turns, areas just out of the current where some of these fish will rest and maybe catch some of those shad as they're kind of injured or dying. So it's a bite I look forward to every year.
It's a fun way to fish, and it's the river. You never know what's going to be on the other end of the line.
Right, so glide style baits, fishing for everything, heavy, deeper. Yeah, it's going to be a good day. On the drop. Oh. Well, it's nice when it works out like that.
That almost never happens.
It almost never happens that way. But every once in a while, when there's a pot of fish you want to drop on, I'm just gonna boat flip them. What you see right here is really common with this style of glide bait. And you can see this fish, actually, he hit it on the drop, but he let it get all the way to the bottom. And it's just right at the tip of the jaw, right at the base. So what these fish will do is they'll actually come down and they'll pin this bait. They'll come right down above it and they'll just pin it down to the bottom. And when I lift it up, boom, he was already on. So that's a nice little fish, nice little chunk of a fish. I don't know, Brandon, you want to keep some fish to eat? What do you think, bud?
I don't.
No?
No.
Maybe I'll keep it in the line. Well, we'll make the decision later. How about that?
Along with the raincoat, I also did not bring a knife.
Well, I got you covered on the knife.
I'd rather have a raincoat.
Oh, we got plenty of bait in there for him to eat. Well, what do you think? Do that again, huh?
Yeah, where was that? Go right back there.
Go right back there and do it again.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
There we go.
Atta boy. Get the net for you here. Hang on.
Blade bait.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Big
Look at that
cheapie.
thing.
Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Part of fish in the river.
It's a trophy.
Some sheep will be caught.
Yeah, we told you we'd run into anything. This is most drum, she said. you never know. You feel the thump and you never know what it's gonna be down there. And that's the fun of it.
There's fish blowing up real shallow and real common with this shad bite, so I might go throw at them.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, that was a pike.
Oh, I got one. I don't think he's very big, but he's pretty tough.
Boy, Brandon.
Bring it back. I didn't even pop it. I was watching Joel miss his, and
I didn't just miss mine, I got eaten. It was a pike.
oh, was it?
Yeah. Bit me off clean.
That was not bad at all. Let's see if I can do this without getting a handful of treble hooks. There we go. Clean them off a little bit there. Yeah, we were out fishing deep looking for some walleyes, and we saw these smallmouth just pushing the shad around in shallow. So we quick changed, headed in shallow, and just kind of followed them around until we could get close enough to make some casts at them. Joel threw out, got hit on topwater, got bit off. I wasn't even paying attention to mine, and I turned around to make a pop, and it was gone, and that's what was on the other end.
Messing with turkeys, never something I thought we'd be doing from the boat on the St. Croix, but.
Oh, might be a muskie. It looked like a pike, but it looked like a silver.
Oh, it's a longfish then, huh?
Yes.
All right. Hey, I like that. We better net him, huh?
Yep. It's just a pike. It made quite a ruckus.
Well, I've lost a nice bait to a pike, so glad to see you're hooking one.
Maybe it's the same one. We can get it back for you.
I want my lure. Oh, he's a nice looking pike. Oh, he's got it. I'm sorry, Brandon.
That's right.
I didn't see your bait.
And I still don't see it.
Oh, bring him here. We better get in it.
Oh! That's timing right there. Nicely deaded. Whew. He was unhooked. He was detached from me for a split second before Joel got him in the net.
And I feel bad the first swipe. I no lure. I'm like, I gotta get this thing. All right, come grab your fish.
Yeah,
man.
you're gonna make me deal with it now, aren't you?
Well, of course I am. He's a pike and he's got teeth. We don't like that.
Just working pop around the top, chasing the smallmouth, and there's obviously a few pike in here. I don't know if you got to see Joel's net job, but it bit me off just before we tucked the net underneath it, and Joel's quick like a cat, cat-like reflexes, and swiped him up, saved the lure. That's timing. And off he goes.
I missed him the first time though.
Well, I wasn't gonna bring that up.
It's so funny, you know, out in the river, we always talk about all the species we're gonna catch. Today when we launched the boat, I certainly didn't think a topwater pike was gonna enter into the picture. And here I got bit off on one, and then you just caught that one, so that's pretty cool. Anything we can do to catch a couple more species, especially different ways, that's fun. Who doesn't like a big fish like that blowing up on a topwater?
Topwater? Yeah, beat that.
No doubt. You know, rivers have been part of what I have done from a fishing perspective for a long time. I grew up on a small river we called a creek. We caught bait, we fished here, eventually fishing trout, and then eventually the Mississippi just down at Red Wing. And it really kind of spurred a love for water for me. And in the early 2000s, it's really how I learned how to fish more professionally. And that's kind of what I do right now. I spend time working at the University of Minnesota, doing GIS and mapping. I'm a map nerd on the side, but the other part of me is so ingrained in fishing that I'm a part of the fishing industry. Sometimes for shows like this one, other times write news stories and articles. But more than anything, it helps get me on the water, helps keep me on the water. Rivers are something I keep coming back to because of the variety. It's really the spice of life. And anytime you hit the river, you really never know what you're gonna catch. I've been out here on the St. Croix and we've caught primarily bigmouth buffalo. Other days, it's almost all walleyes. Other times yet, the walleye bites a bust and we start pitching for smallmouth. So I think it's really neat to have a ton of options. I think it's really cool to be able to fish different techniques for different species, and really that's what I'm all about, multi-species angling. Fishing the river for whatever bites is really kind of a go-to technique, patterns for me that I love to employ. And look at it right now, it's absolutely beautiful. We've got fall colors changing, we've got bait fish piling up, fish starting to congregate, concentrate, and push that bait around to different places, and really no better place to be than in the fall out fishing a river somewhere. Ooh, I'm on. Yeah, that felt good. That was actually a double thump. This thing ate it. Guessing it's a walleye. Yeah, let's net it, huh? Ooh, dig in. Yeah, nice walleye. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm there for you.
Nice little fish. Hooked right in the corner of the mouth. On one of the presentations I want to talk to you a little bit about, let's get him in the box and I'm going to go show you what we're using. There we go. So I just caught that fish on one of 3 main stains for the river. So I tell you, I fish a lot of different baits, but if I had to go back to 3 big ones I always take on, a jig and minnow is a classic. And typically I'm fishing this tungsten jig. It's a tungsten jig by Northland. It's a short shank jig, which I like for hooking minnows just like that. Plain fathead minnow works just fine. I've got about a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader that I tie on, and I use a good jig rod, you know, something that you can both pitch with as well as vertical jig with, but this one really excels at pitching. It's a 6'10" medium light, extra fast action, incredibly sensitive rod, really important for things like jigging. All right, presentation number 2. There are times when the vibration of a blade bait is literally unmatched. So I don't care what kind of blade bait you're fishing, but that vibration in turbid water, especially after a rain, in summer conditions leading into fall, where you've still got some turbidity in the water, I'd say a cicada, there's a lot of different kinds of blade baits you can use. Fishing those down the center of a channel, it works really well. I use the same rod I do typically on as a jig stick. So if you've got a rod just like the last one, 6'10", medium light extra fast, medium extra fast, 6'8", it helps you pitch around maybe bridge pilings, fish down the center of a channel if you're going ahead and doing the drift game. There's a lot of ways to fish this great. But probably the number 1 presentation that I use is fishing a puppet minnow. Any of these glide style baits do really well, but this is a pitch and puppet. It's got an enlarged rear hook, independently swiveling kind of treble hook down here. So it's really great. You're not going to lose as many fish alongside of the boat, both with that big hook and this hook's ability to swivel and literally not leverage out of the fish's mouth. So we fish this on a very specific rod. Now this is a Legend Tournament walleye series from St. Croix. It is a 7'1" medium power, moderate fast action. So there's a lot of give in the tip of this rod. And that give helps keep fish buttoned up, but it also helps work this bait properly. All these baits, you need a pretty steady kind of lift, quick lift on it to get that fish, to get that bait to kind of pop up and then glide down on a semi-tight line. That's exactly how you need to fish these, and a rod like this really helps do that. So spinning reels for just about everything as you're going about it for these 3 baits, typically 10 to 15 pound braid, again with the 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm a big believer in that when I can, both from a abrasion resistance standpoint, but also from the clarity standpoint. If you're fishing any clearer stretches, that fluorocarbon can really help you. It's very translucent. So those are the 3 presentations I like to use. A pitch and puppet or puppet minnow as a glide style bait. You've got the blade bait, and then a jig and minnow is the classic. So that last fish came on a jig and minnow. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that one again. Fish. think this is a smallie. Acting smally-ish. No, I think it's a walleye.
You know, net on that?
I need a net. If I bring it over to you, you got me? Ooh, thank you, sir. You know, it hasn't been the easiest. And sometimes, when it gets tougher, different parts of the day, it's nice to go straight back to the old jig and minnow presentation. And on the river, on a tough day, minnows can really make a difference. So I don't know if we'll slam on minnows the rest of the day. We're gonna be fishing all kinds of different things for all kinds of different species, but we're gonna keep trying to catch more of these, that's for darn sure.
Joel and I fish a lot of lakes, and the fish that we're after, walleyes, bass, they're predators. They eat other fish. In lakes, that's typically gonna be minnow species, shiners, spot-tail shiners, spot-fin shiners, perch. On the river, we have gizzard shad, and you don't see those in the lakes. So every spot that we have fished and caught fish has been loaded with gizzard shad, and that's what we're looking for on the electronics, just balls and balls of gizzard shad. These predators are looking for those shad. It's a great meal for them. It's easy pickings when they're congregated like they are in the fall. I can't hear any.
There we go,
anything.
fish on,
Joel's
fish on.
got one.
Looks like a walleye. Nice little guy. I'm just gonna go and boat flip him. Ooh. So this fish pinned it to the bottom, just like so many of them do. And what's really neat is if you can jig this bait down into the bottom, a lot of times it's more successful than trying to jig it off. So we've been finding that a little bit today with some of the walleyes we've been catching, is they're dropping that into bottom, creating commotion, creating ruckus, banging that bait into the bottom is done a little bit better than trying to jig it off. Box him. Got the makings of a little fish fry going. The wheels of industry are turning. Trains used to be a good thing down on Lake Pepin. It'd shake the rocks, shake some of the shad loose. Trains on an elevated bridge, I think it's just noisy. Well, this is about my 10th year with Lund, and before I started with Lund, I had a Lund, and it was a Pro V, a lot like this one. And every year that I've been with Lund, I've ordered another Pro V because it's just been the boat that suits how I fish really well. Number one, it's a great multi-species boat. I can fish anything out of this thing. Muskies, walleyes, panfish. Love fishing for panfish out of this thing. And it's a serious angler's boat. I've got incredible rod storage, just cavernous rod storage. And this year, even more rod tubes out and away from the main cabin locker. So there's places to put rods all over this boat. I love the redesigned dash, the new switches, the way it holds my cell phone and charges it at the same time, ready for me to see any messages that are coming in. This boat with my configurations and this Mercury motor, 200 horses is max, it's what I'm running on it. It's a fast boat, it's a boat that's safe for rough water as well as flat water. They're a great combination, this Mercury 200 horse with the Pro V. And I love the cavernous storage. If you look all around this boat, there's small drawers here, there, and everywhere to be able to store anything from fishing tackle to just odds and ends. And you know, if I had to pick another favorite part about the boat, it's gotta be that pulled back deck, because I've got a spacious live well in the back. I've got 2 flip-up seats, just a ton of storage space on top of it, underneath those flip-up seats. So add all this together, for me, it's the ultimate boat. It's the boat I order every single year because I absolutely love it.
Oh, I got one. I got one here.
Oh, nice.
Not very big.
Keep them coming.
It's coming up.
What do we got?
I don't know yet. That looks like
Walleye.
a walleye. Oh, little sauger. Flip it in.
Nice.
and add that to the list.
Species after species.
Yep. It's the river, man. You never know what it's gonna be. Pretty little fish, cool markings.
I love sauger, and I like to eat sauger, so maybe maybe that one goes in the box with the rest.
Check this out. What are they eating? What have we been talking about all day? Shad in his mouth. Does that kind of resemble what we're using?
It's about the same length.
Maybe. Same color, same length. Joel likes to eat sauger. And there's one for Joel.
Thank you, Brandon. Ooh, I'm on. Here we go. Man, this fish just clubbed this thing too. Feels nicer.
A little better bend, you need a net up there?
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Ooh, we just rolled over this pod. Oh yeah, look at her, she's nice. I'm gonna bring her right to you. Oh, bring that girl up to me. Thank you so much. This is exciting. Look at the sun. We're in great position. Look at this. What a fish to end our day. Holy cow. Really proud of this fish. We worked really hard today. We tried a lot of different spots. We ended up going upriver, downriver. We looked for shad.
Back upriver again.
Back upriver again. And we're able to finally tag this nice girl right at the very end of our day. We've got great light. We rolled over a great pod, first of shad and then of walleyes. And it was really nice to be able to see those fish on the electronics, see fish, catch fish. That's a beautiful fish to kind of end the day in glory. Well, I'm really happy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for a day on the boat.
Thanks for having me out.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.